James Bond cars. We all have our favourites. Over the years there have been many different vehicles in the Bond films. Anyway, we're going to get into my top 10 of James Bond cars today on the channel. Okay, so yeah, James Bond cars. There's been some absolute classics over the years. I do have a list here, so we're going to start at number 10, and it's the little old classic, the Citroen 2CV, which was in A View to a Kill. Yeah, probably a very unlikely Bond car, and it was obviously driven by Roger Moore in the film. Obviously not in, it was obviously done by stunt drivers, but it's that classic sort of French car from back in the sort of 1980s, late 70s. I don't think they're made anymore. It was almost the polar opposite to a lot of the cars, your Aston Martins that you associate with Bond. But it was a nice, little car that was used in that film. And yeah, that's just my number 10 ranking, just for nostalgia purposes. Okay, so coming in at number 9 is the 1971 Ford Mustang Mach 1. Now this was driven in Diamonds Are Forever, it's the Sean Connery film, and the famous scene in it where the car goes through the little roadway, and it's on one side, and then when it comes out it's on the other side. If you remember the scene, it's a big sort of continuity gaff, but a great looking car. Mustangs are always fantastic, aren't they? So yeah, number 9, the Mustang. Coming in at number 8, the AMC Hornet. So this featured him from The Man with the Golden Gun. So this was the scene where J.W. Pepper is on his holidays, and he's in the showroom looking at this car. He's sat inside it, and in pops James Bond, played by Roger Moore, and takes it on a spin to catch, or try to catch, Scaramanga. And it's that great stunt where he does the 360 turn from the sort of broken bridge, and this was famously done by a stunt car driver who did it in one take, and they were so surprised that he'd done this in one take that he got a nice bonus. It's still an iconic stunt, probably not been replicated in any film since. I don't know, it may have been, but not that I know of. But yeah, an absolute classic car, the AMC Hornet. Okay, so coming in at number 7 is the Lotus Esprit Turbo. So this featured in For Your Eyes Only. Now at the start of the film, you see the white Lotus, I believe, and that gets blown up, but then it is replaced by the sort of I think it's red, or sort of like a browny colour Lotus Esprit with the skis on the back. Roger Moore very much sort of moved away from the Aston Martins. In fact, I don't think he ever drove Aston Martin in his films, but he was the Lotus Esprit man, wasn't he? So yeah, the Lotus Esprit Looked still great. It was a different version to the one that was in The Spy Who Loved Me, but yeah, another great Bond car. Okay, so coming in at number 6 is the Aston Martin Vanquish. Now this featured in Die Another Day, my sort of worst James Bond film, but I have to say the scene with the Vanquish and the Jaguar, that is a good scene, great car chase. I do love the design of the Vanquish, even though I wasn't keen on the sort of invisible cloaking sort of gadget, I suppose, that was on the vehicle. I thought that was a bit of a step too far, but yeah, an absolutely fantastic looking Aston Martin. It was pretty much with Pierce Brosnan. He started off with the DB5, then they moved to sort of BMWs in his tenure. But to round off his tenure as Bond, they did, as I say, go back to the Aston Martin, and it's a great car, the Vanquish. So coming in at number 5, so we're in the top 5 now, and it is the Aston Martin DB10, featured in Spectre. So yeah, really like this design. Really nice car. I did sort of drive a version of this on my driving experience Bond experience day, and the guy who was actually taking me around the track, he did say that the car that I was driving was kind of the blueprint for that DB10. I think they called it the DB10, but I think it was a more modification of what I was driving. But it did look great. Again, you got this sort of ejector seat in that one, which was a nice sort of nod to the Goldfinger DB5. So yeah, number 5 is the DB10. So coming in at number 4 is the Aston Martin V8, and this featured in The Living Daylights starring Timothy Dalton, but it also reprised its comeback in No Time to Die as well. So in The Living Daylights, Timothy Dalton drove this. It was winterised. Kieran winterised it, and we got that fantastic scene where he's driving it over the lake, and there's the rockets that come out that he fires at the, I think it's like a tank or a truck or something, and that's a nice sort of callback to the sort of DB5 with the machine guns, but a little bit of a sort of modern twist on it. And yeah, absolutely loved that car. I thought it was fantastic. Like I say, Daniel Craig took it out again in No Time to Die. Wonderful vehicle. I did have the opportunity to drive V8 at the Bond experience that I did, but unfortunately that car broke down, so I wasn't able to drive it, which was a real shame. But I did get a photograph with it. Hopefully I'll put it up here somewhere, and yeah, absolutely fantastic car. Okay, so we're into the top 3 James Bond cars. So just before we get into that, if you are liking these videos, I have got a James Bond playlist, so I'll leave that at the end of the video. Really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel if you like all things Bond. Trying to do some sort of more Bond content for you guys out there, all you James Bond fans. So yeah, hit the subscribe button down below, or scan that QR code that pops up on these videos as well, so you can subscribe. And also please leave comments as well. I'd love to know your comments on these vehicles. Okay, so coming in at number 3 is the Lotus Esprit S1, nicknamed Wet Nelly. So this was the white Lotus that appeared in The Spy Who Loved Me. Absolutely iconic James Bond car. The one that turned into the submarine. As a child watching this, I was just blown away by this. It was just like, wow, this is absolutely fantastic. I had the Corgi toys. Always dreamt of being able to drive this, fantastic car. It was at the height of sort of the late 70s, mid to late 70s, and gadgets were really sort of being shown on the Roger Moore tenure of of his films, and this was no exception. Absolutely fantastic Lotus. Really loved the design of it, and to be able to see the whole thing turn into a submarine inside cockpit with the revolving display, the shades going up on the windows, the wheels turning in, the fins coming out. Absolutely fantastic. Really iconic Bond car, and yeah, my number 3 spot. Okay, so coming in at number 2 is the Aston Martin DBS V12. So this was the one that featured in Casino Royale, the one that did the flip, the roll. Absolutely love this car. I loved the whole design of the Aston Martin, the setting that it was all in Monte Carlo. Beautiful sort of gunmetal grey colour to it. Yeah, and if I won the lottery, I think I would definitely have a DBS V12. Well, I'd have any Aston Martin, to be honest. They're all fantastic cars, aren't they? But yeah, for me, the DBS, really, I do like the design of that one. So yeah, that's my number 2 pick. Okay, so we've got to number 1. Probably no prizes for guessing which one it is, and it is the DB5. So yeah, what an iconic car. So we saw this in Goldfinger, the one with the ejector seat, the one with the guns and the shield at the back, and this reprised back with Daniel Craig, obviously in Casino Royale, the origin story of him winning it at a card game, and that DB5 continued throughout the Craig films, with the final film, No Time to Die, where we get to see these sort of guns coming out. It's a more modern version than what we saw in the Goldfinger film, but again, just a wonderful stunt with going round and round, shooting all these cars, bulletproof glass, etc. Just an absolute iconic car. And just to show you, I've got this wonderful Playmobil edition of the car. It's got the number plates that rotate on the back and the front. It's got the shield that comes up with the bullet holes. It's also got this would be where the machine guns would come out. I think in the later one it came out of the actual headlights. And again, it's got the ejector seat in here. Absolutely iconic design, this one. It epitomes the James Bond look, and certainly with the Daniel Craig films, it really brought that prestige back that we saw sort of in the Sean Connery films. He really sort of put Aston Martin on the map for James Bond, and for the last sort of 60 plus years, Aston Martin has always been associated with the James Bond cars. Yeah, can't rate this one highly enough. I was fortunate to be able to drive a DB5 on my James Bond driving experience, and you may have seen the little intros that I do, where you see me driving, and that is me driving the DB5. No power steering on it, really difficult to turn the wheel, manual gearbox, no sort of paddles or anything like that like you get on the modern Aston Martins. But what an experience to drive this iconic car around a racetrack for 2 laps. I'll never forget the experience. It was wonderful, and my number 1 James Bond car of all time, the DB5. So like I said earlier, I'll leave some videos up here of James Bond related material videos. Yeah, why not go and have a look around the Bond playlist. So I've got some more videos planned for James Bond, and yeah, I hope you can sort of enjoy the content. Stick down in the comments, what are your top 10 James Bond cars? Yeah, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts down below.